I am a teacher who recently found a job at a nursery school in Japan. Beside my school, there is a Buddhist temple, and behind both buildings is an old cemetery surrounded by a sharp, metal fence to prevent children from entering or leaving. A few days into my work, I noticed something very strange. There were always insects and lizards hanging off the fence. I wondered who could do such a thing. It might have been some mischievous children from the nursery, or it could be someone else, as the nursery school and the temple shared the same entrance. People came and went all day long, and some elementary school children played in the cemetery. It was difficult to ascertain who was responsible for this. One day, a dead animal was found hanging on the fence. The school director removed it immediately and disposed of the body. A few days later, a cat was removed from the fence. Things were getting worse. The director decided that something had to be done, so he held a meeting with the teachers and invited some monks from the temple. He asked, "Who is doing this? What should I do to stop it?" After a long discussion, no one had any solutions. A few days later, a rabbit was found hanging on the fence. It wasn't just any rabbit. It was the pet rabbit from the nursery school, kept in a cage and allowed to be fed by the children. I discovered it in the morning when I arrived at work. I asked one of the Buddhist monks who was weeding the cemetery earlier that morning. The dead rabbit certainly wasn't there then, meaning it was left by the culprit after his arrival. One of the children in my class had arrived early that morning. I took him aside and asked if he had seen anything. He said just one word: Hisaruki. Hisaruki? He repeated the name over and over. I asked him what Hisaruki was. The boy couldn't explain and covered his eyes, repeating, Hisaruki. Hisaruki. Later, I asked the other children about Hisaruki. They all knew the name but couldn't explain who or what Hisaruki was. The children knew about the pet rabbit being killed, but none seemed upset. It was as if they had expected it. I felt incredibly uncomfortable. At the end of the day, when the parents came for their children, I asked if they had heard of Hisaruki. None of them had. One teacher mentioned that she once saw a child's drawing with that name. The child left under strange circumstances. The boy had been absent for a week, and one morning, his parents came to collect his school belongings. They hurriedly said their son had an accident and they were moving to another city. The boy sat in the car, wearing patches over both eyes. We never knew what happened to him. The next morning, the school director found an injured chicken on the fence. Later that day, during lunch break, one boy stopped and looked at the sky, saying, "It's Hisaruki." The message spread among the children, who covered their eyes with their hands. The sunny afternoon felt very eerie. I asked a nearby boy who Hisaruki was. When he didn't answer, I pulled his hands from his eyes and demanded to know. The boy, trying to cover his eyes, said he didn't know. Suddenly, he raised his fingers to his eyes, trying to blind himself. I struggled to stop him and called for help. Another teacher arrived, and we subdued the boy, taking him to the hospital where his eyes were saved.